Hey everyone, and welcome back to Remember This Tech. On today's episode we're going to be trying to revive one of the first Mac G4s. Behind me, this Graphite Gray G4, 400 megahertz. And all I know is that the system used to run from the person who gave it to me, but it doesn't have a hard drive and a couple other things. I know it has a 400 megahertz G4 CPU. Looks like the RAM's been upgraded to 384 meg. It has a 16 meg ATI Rage Pro video card, PCI in there. Has a SCSI card and 2 IDE channels. Now, I don't have a SCSI drive, so in this video, we're going to do a couple things. We're going to try to get a new hard drive, probably an SSD with the IDE adapter on there, and we're probably going to have to clean up the paint off the system because it's got paint all over the outside without burring it up too much. And it's going to need a huge dusting. It's filthy. But without further ado, come along with me on this restoration effort and let's see if we can get this Mac G4 400 megahertz system back up and running and restored to a little bit of its former glory and put on Mac OS 9.22 on this system. This is super exciting. A blast from the past. Bringing back to life this old Mac G4. Come on, let's go! Really want to see if I can get this paint off of here without scraping it off and ruining it further. So sometimes this stuff takes off paint, and maybe the plastic will help. Because if it's plastic, maybe it won't stick as bad. I don't know. Maybe I need more elbow grease. Maybe I need to let it soak some more. Looks like a little bit's coming off. Maybe I'm just gonna have to really get some, maybe like a non-abrasive cloth will work or something. I'm making some progress here, believe it or not. And if I can get a way to like slowly buff this with this cloth, this non-abrasive cloth, or crud cutter liquid, without getting it inside the unit, maybe I can make some real progress here. I don't want to ruin it by getting anything on electronics since it's survived this long, you know. This paint or whatever it is slowly coming off. So depends on how much elbow grease you want to put into it. It might work. Let's cut. Let me put some work into this and we'll cut back to see how far I can get. Well, look at that. Just look at that. I got most of that paint residue off, aside from a few scuffs and scrapes that, well, just couldn't be taken off because it's scuffs and scrapes. It didn't come out too bad. Of course, I gotta clean a little bit more of the handles, but even the front of the case doesn't look too bad now. And the back side, well, it's got a few scuffs and scrapes here that just couldn't be taken out because it's gouged in the plastic, but overall it ain't looking too bad. Now we got to get to the inside of this case and do a little bit more deep cleaning, remove the heatsink and clean off the inside of the components as best we can. And we'll get to trying to install a new hard drive and see what OS we can get on here. Awesome, looking good so far. So I understand some people don't ever clean their machines, but come on. I mean, it's time to dust this thing out. And we gotta get this in here and start going. Looks like we had an aftermarket upgrade on the RAM here. because we got a stick of Apple branded Micron PC100. I think it's 128 meg stick, and it's probably what it came with. But someone stuck another stick of memory in here, so. And there's a nondescript kind of PC100, I guess. Doesn't really say how much it is. Oh, it could be 256 meg. So we could have 384 meg of RAM here with room for more. So we'll wipe down these as best we can. While we're at it, let's see what kind of a card we have in here for the video card. I know it's a PCI, and I know it's an ATI Rage. I think it's a 128. Looks like it has a memory expansion data card on here. Let's see. ATI Rage 128. It's 1988 Rage. Don't you love how it still has the void if broken warranty seal on there? Well, yeah. These stupid heatsink have a retention mechanism here, and then in order to pop this off, you have to remove the damn clip. And there's the Motorola RPC chip, and all it had was a thermal pad, like a TIM, I guess you call it. So we'll clean this up. I mean, it seemed to have done well all these years, but if I can't scrape it off easily, you know, well, it's going to suck. But get some thermal paste on there, and the die is pretty small, but cleaned up the heatsink, the old TIM, put a little tiny dab, very tiny dab, thermal paste, the appropriate amount, and spread it out on the CPU. But once you get it flipped in there, there's no other way for it to go, you know. Cleaned up the heatsink fins, and then this thing just secures it like it's gonna go anywhere, but you know. And I cleaned up the rest of the case a little bit. We're not gonna use the SCSI card, we're gonna use an IDE channel. See if it can get it to work. Pop the PRAM battery out of here. I suppose there's an easy way, but I don't really know. And it's a Maxwell Super, and it's not leaking. You should always replace these just in case they leak and ruin the circuit board. So yeah, cleaning up, going pretty good. I got a new PRAM battery. The Amazon, where you get everything, right? So I got a 2-pack, and well, you never know, maybe I'll get another Mac like this, G4, G3 down the road. So it says 3.6 volts, and yep, it looks very different though. It looks smaller, so maybe it'll fit, maybe it won't. Fits like a glove. Anyways, and while we have this case open, there's another thing that I need to do. We don't have a hard drive here. The person left the screws for the hard drive mounting kit here for the IDE, but clearly you can use an IDE drive. Yeah, you can. But I've got this IDE, the SATA adapter that I've used in different machines over the years, and let's see if it'll work for this one. Now, sometimes you have issues with whether or not it'll get picked up on a controller or not, or if it sees something, you know. But anyways, it's a SATA on this end here, and then we're going to use a Hua Kung Fu disk SSD. It's 128 gig AliExpress special, and for now we can kind of put it in here. This needs a 12 volt 4-pin Molex connector, and it goes in place of the hard drive, obviously. So everything's here, leaving the RAM as is. Gently close this up, just go from there. I use carbon copy cloner to make an image for my Mac Pro G5 dual core with carbon copy cloner. So we're going to put it in this Mac and see if it'll boot, and if not, then it's got a DVD-ROM drive. It just, wait, it stopped goofing. Oh my god, did I get it to boot? Are we on our way to the restoration? OMG. Oh my god. I got it with the help of my Mac Pro G5 and carbon copy cloner. This is going to take a while, but we're booting from a DVD-ROM that I made from an image. Woo! This is awesome! So what does this say? Alright, so there's a few steps I think that need to be done here. One of the steps is that we have to format the drive, the SSD, if it shows up the Mac OS extended, or Mac OS, is it journaled? Say utilities, see if we can get the disk utility, drive setup. I think this will be it. And then if it sees the disk, ATA, not initialized. So let's see, we can initialize it. That should kind of like get initialized so we can format it, and then we can see if we can install 922. Oh, this is exciting. So it's successful. Okay. Is this all we can do? I guess so. I mean, I'm gonna try to select clean install this time, see if it'll do it. I agree. I mean, I got this far last time, but it gave me issues. Dry setup program cannot be running during installation. Please quit dry setup, then start the installation again. I thought I would end the damn thing, for Christ's sakes. Oh, here we go. So, one partition. Why don't we make two partitions, right? And then Mac OS extended. You know, okay, blah blah blah. That way, if I want to put two operating systems on here, I can do that. So we are running 10 minutes, it says, but you know, can it? Will it take 10 minutes? I don't know. I've never really done this before. Oh no, my camera. So I've not done this before. This is the oldest Mac OS X install I've ever done, and I guess we're really letting it go, you know? It is kind of flying. We do have an SSD in here, but it's limited by the IDE bus, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is 33 megabits per second. I thought there was a 66 megabits per second IDE channel on this, but I have to look up the specs. Again, into the install. I might have to just wipe the disk and use the whole partition. I don't know, man. I'm doing a reinstall because it kind of failed last time for some reason. I didn't choose a clean install option either. Then I went to reinstall clean install and said there was already an install on the untitled drive, so I think there's a problem with this stupid CD-ROM, DVD-ROM in here. It's probably failing. I might have to replace the damn thing to get it to read right. So, yeah, damn it. Alright, moment of truth. Quit this program, click continue to install our software. So we don't want to do that. We want to reboot the system, right? And all this stuff showed up now, so I think we might be good, except for the time's hosed, but I can fix that later. So let's see. Restart. Fingers crossed. Alright, I did a troubleshooting. I switched a jumper on the hard drive because sometimes I read that that's a problem. And I have that adapter, and that was the freaking problem. I mean, just in case you have the same problem, check that. It was set from the old hard drive, IDE hard drives, blah blah blah. That adapter has a master slave setting. It has to be set to master. Doesn't matter if there's only one drive on there. It won't work. And that was oh god, it's so stupid. But if you haven't messed with the systems since, you know, ages past, that's the thing you need to check out, okay? MG. I assume that, you know, with the system this old, it's bound to happen, but it looks like we might have finally gotten to the desktop. And welcome to Mac OS 9.22. So I'm going to try to get the capture to work, and then we will carry on with looking through this operating system. Yes! Well everyone, not going to get the capture to work today, but that's fine, right? This is just exciting the way it is, and I'm happy that we finally got this operating system installed and this Mac up and running again. It's like a Mac OS setup assistant. Just asks a few questions like your language and how your keyboard's set up. So he defaults to English, and we're gonna put in our name, you know, basic stuff. Go ahead, basic assistant. Let's do this. Let's do this. So there's this little taskbar down below, and it can be minimized. If you can see, it's so tiny, but there's all kinds of quick launch stuff in here. What is this? Apple Talk. Sweet. Energy saver control panel. Spin down hard drive. There's your sleep functions. Turn off file sharing. Turn it on. Unlock keychain. Open location manager. Here's the monitor setting. Look, it sees my ancient LG L227. I don't know how, but it does. Well, that's the benefit of keeping one of these old monitors around. I couldn't get the pass-through to work. This has VGA. This only has VGA out on this Mac. I couldn't use the adapter. It wouldn't show up on my 4K TV, obviously, so it's what we're going with. So I can't believe it has a driver for that old monitor, but hey, there's a printer settings. We're not messing with that. QuickTime website, Disney, CNN, remote access, sweet, speakers. I don't know if this Mac has, oh, it has a built-in speaker. Sounds like a little miniature beeping fart noise. How awesome. So we got the built-in sound for now. Sweet. And then down here, what is this? Speech control. I really don't think it's gonna work. I don't have a microphone hooked up. Anyway, so that is that. So let's go up here and it'll say about this computer. And what we have here is Mac OS 9.22. I got 384 meg of memory. I think it's using what, 36 meg at the current time for the OS. It doesn't tell you much else. It doesn't even say the processor speed, but that's pretty much useless because we already knew these things. So you got help, shutdown, desktop, buttons and icons, preferences for your finders, tabs, all the folders perhaps, different views, and labels. You can color code the labels. And up here, continuing on, you can create new folders, search internet. Got a DVD ROM drive in this system, Apple System Profiler. This will give us even more information about the system. What do we have? Okay, memory overview, disk cache, 8 kilobits, 385 meg. Tells you what's installed on each bank, which is pretty cool. 128 meg, 256 meg of DIMMs, and there's two more slots open, so I could technically expand this system. Basically one of the first Power Mac G4s that came out. It gives you the Mac OS ROM version 9.21. Network. What do we have for devices and volumes? Okay. We've got a USB keyboard and USB mouse, and that's what we're using currently. Hard drive right here, untitled because I didn't give it a name. Got a PCI SCSI card and a display card. Well, basically it's our ATI Rage Pro 16 meg video card. See, there you are. Control panel views gives you this basic information on what software you're running, all that good stuff. And again, it might be interesting for some of you out there, maybe it isn't, but this is my first time ever using this operating system. Extensions, these are all things that are in use. ATI 3D Accelerator, Microsoft Components, Apple Media Packet Photo Access, and you can scroll down, there's a lot more. QuickTime, codecs, applications, seeing what's on here currently. And you can add stuff to the favorites, I guess. Disk burner. Can't believe this has a disk burner on here. Imagine that. Mail. And system folders, and that's it. I'm just curious on where's the finder? Like, here's the finder, right? So it doesn't really do anything. Where do I look for my programs? Find. And what do we find? I don't know. Sherlock. What's this? CNN News, shopping. What? Am I adding all this crap? Oh, it's like a mini finder from everything from like the internet to programs to everything else. Entertainment. Find. Oh, I have to index the drive. I think it's choking. Browse the internet. I'm guaranteed not to be able to get on the web with that, but so this is Mac OS 9.2. And up here, continuing on, you got the calculator, control panel elements where you can go through and look and configure everything from TCP to location manager, control strip, like here. And I think I can make it bigger. Like, I want this bigger, real big. And that should make it bigger, but I don't know if it applied it. Didn't do anything. Didn't make it bigger. Network browser, applications, recent documents, recent remote access, Sherlock 2, and then speakable items. I guess you can add these things to your favorites and stuff. Let's try to launch QuickTime if we can. Why don't we plug in the internet and see if it does anything? Since we plugged this thing in, right? We plugged in the computer to the network, maybe it'll get an IP. And I can't update it, so yeah. Anyway, this is kind of locked up. Like, there's absolutely nothing we can do on this machine. Nothing! Well, I guess that's about as far as we can go with 922 and the restoration of this G4 400 megahertz system. And, you know, it's a kind of a bit of a nostalgic thing for me. I never could get one of these machines, couldn't afford one back in the day. The fact that it still works after all this cleaning and a little bit of, well, a new drive and operating system install is pretty impressive. And the fact that it's a G4 system means that it's possible to upgrade this CPU and RAM on this system. You can really juice these G4 systems up. I've seen videos where you can put in custom cards on here to make dual processor G4s. So it was pretty cool to see this brought back to life. A piece of history, one of the first G4 400 megahertz machines, and came out pretty nice. I mean, I got the paint off there. I think it came out really nice, and I'm really happy with it. Just don't know much about 922, and it's so old that unless you have programs to run or install on there, you're not going to do a lot. And if you can't get on the web, well, you know, it's too old. Maybe the next step would be to put on Tiger 10.4 on here, because I guess they can run these with the Power PC. Or if I had an upgrade path for CPU down the line, even Sorbet Leopard could be put on there. So thanks for coming along with me on this nostalgic restoration video of this iconic, one of the first, or is the first, the Graphite G4 400 megahertz system brought back to life from the dead. And thanks for watching. Remember this tech.